Ladies and gentlemen, you didn't come here today to stay the same. You came here to transform. I'm talking about radical change, the kind of change that makes people stop in their tracks and say, "Wait, is that you? Yes, you unrecognizable to the person you were just 7 days ago." Now, I know what you're thinking. Can a person really change their life in just 1 week? Absolutely, because change doesn't take time. Change takes a decision, and when you decide to move differently, speak differently, think differently, you become someone different. Not later, before transformation can ever take place, before success can ever be sustained, before destiny can ever be fulfilled, there has to be a moment, a defining moment, not a motivational burst, not a temporary high. I'm talking about a soul-level decision where you draw the line in the sand and say, "I refuse to be that person ever again." Because hear me, real change doesn't begin when you add something new. Real change begins when you eliminate what's been holding you back. You don't need more strategies before you deal with the source of your stagnation. And for most people, it's not lack of knowledge, not lack of talent, not lack of opportunity. It's identity. You've been living life playing a role you didn't even choose. Living up to expectations you didn't set. Trapped in patterns you never questioned. And every time you try to elevate, every time you try to grow, that same old identity drags you back down and says, "Who do you think you are?" So today, you don't start with who you want to become. You start by breaking up with who you've been. That version of you that shrinks to make other people comfortable, that doubts before deciding, that hesitates when it's time to take action, that overthinks, that settles, that procrastinates, that apologizes for dreaming bigger than your environment permits. That version has to go, not next week, not when you're ready, today, now, because as long as you're still tolerating the old you, there's no room for the new one. As long as you're still emotionally attached to the mindset that got you here, you'll never rise to the one that'll get you there. What got you here is not qualified to take you forward. That version of you was necessary, sure. It protected you, it survived, it adapted, but it cannot carry the weight of your next level. You weren't created just to survive. You were created to build, to lead, to influence, to dominate in your purpose. And survival mode has no place in a season of overflow. You've got to disown the part of you that thinks small, that waits for permission, that gets offended by correction, that lives for validation, that secretly fears success because it doesn't believe it deserves it. This isn't just about what you want to do. This is about who you're willing to stop being. There is power in subtraction. There is transformation in letting go. Before the world sees the results, you have to confront the residue. You can't conquer your future while clinging to a version of yourself that was built in fear. You can't dominate in your calling while operating out of insecurity. You can't walk in power while talking like a victim. So today, you need to make a list, not of your goals, not of your ambitions, but of every belief, behavior, and identity trait that can't come with you into your next chapter. Write it down, say it out loud, and then make a vow. I will never again be the person who. Fill in the blank, burn the bridge, and don't look back. Because your new life, your breakthrough, your success, your influence, is waiting on the other side of your decision to never again answer to the name of average. You cannot transform what you continue to tolerate. And you cannot be reborn until you first decide which parts of you must die. This is not about pretending. This is about becoming. This is not about external change. This is about internal rebellion. You are overthrowing the version of yourself that's been lying to you, limiting you, and leading you in circles. And from this moment forward, that version of you no longer has authority in your life, no longer has a voice, no longer has permission to speak into your decisions, no longer gets to choose what you believe, how you move, or what level you settle for because you've decided, once and for all, that version of you is not welcome in the room where your destiny lies. If the first step to becoming unrecognizable is breaking up with the version of you that's been playing small, the second step is building the routine that anchors the person you're becoming. Because once you've decided who you no longer want to be, you need a structure that reinforces who you've chosen to become. This is where most people fall off. They make bold declarations, they get inspired, they say the right things, but when the emotion fades and Monday morning hits, they default back to the patterns that kept them average. That's not going to be you. You're not just changing your intentions, you're changing your infrastructure. Because when you want to change your life, you don't start with motivation, you start with management. If you can't manage your time, you can't manage your transformation. Success has a schedule. Breakthrough has a calendar. And if your life isn't submitted to a plan, then it's submitted to chaos. Your habits are the invisible architects of your future. What you do consistently is more powerful than what you do occasionally. And right now, your future is being shaped by the patterns you practice when no one's watching. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your systems. And if your systems are loose, if your mornings are wasted, if your nights are undisciplined, then your potential is being leaked away through the cracks of your uncommitted hours. So here's what needs to happen. Make a non-negotiable routine, not a cute list of morning affirmations and maybe, some days, a routine that governs your life like a mission, critical assignment, because your purpose is too important to be left to chance. And when something becomes non-negotiable, it becomes part of your identity. You no longer try to wake up early. You are the kind of person who wakes up early. You don't try to work out. You are the kind of person who trains their body like it's part of their purpose. You don't try to focus. You protect your time like it's a sacred resource. You don't add discipline around your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is built on discipline. Because everything you say you want, a healthier body, a stronger business, more peace, more energy, more impact, requires you to become the kind of person who no longer negotiates with laziness, with distractions, with excuses, or with anything that contradicts the mission. You don't wait for inspiration to act. You act until inspiration shows up. You don't wait until it feels right to do what's right, because you understand that excellence is a habit, not a feeling. And every time you choose to follow your schedule instead of your feelings, you're reinforcing a mindset that says, my future is more important than my comfort. That's how you start becoming unrecognizable, not by chasing moments of hype, but by mastering hours of discipline. Your calendar needs to reflect your commitment. Every hour must have a name. Every day must serve a purpose. Every week must close with evidence that you are moving forward. Because anything you can't measure, you can't manage. And if you're not tracking what matters, then you're not serious about change. We're just entertained by the idea of it, so you take authority over your day before the world does. You wake up with intention. You prime your mind, your spirit, your body before anybody gets access to your energy. You build your day around your priorities, not around other people's emergencies. You set targets, not to impress anyone, but to measure your faithfulness to what you say you value. Because if your schedule doesn't reflect your vision, then your vision is just a fantasy. You don't build a great life in one leap. You build it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, one rep, one word, one bold decision at a time. And when you stay faithful to your non-negotiables, you start noticing something powerful. You don't have to force results. They begin to flow. You don't have to chase validation. Your consistency speaks so loud, it silences doubt. You don't have to try to convince people you've changed. They'll recognize it in the way you move, the way you speak, the way you show up, and the way you own your time like someone who understands that every minute is a seed being planted in the soil of your future. Your words are not filler. They are fuel. They don't just describe your life, they design it. Every sentence you speak is a seed, and your future is the soil. What you consistently say is creating what you eventually see. The problem is, most people are fluent in the language of limitation. They don't even realize they've been casting curses over their own potential by the way they talk about their life, their abilities, their future. They say things like, "I'm just trying. I'm not good at that. I always mess this up. Nothing ever works out for me." And then they're surprised when they see no progress. But the truth is, their words have been building a prison around their potential. If you want to become unrecognizable, the next thing you have to do after building your routine is mastering your language. You can't speak weakness and expect to walk in strength. You can't speak fear and expect to live in boldness. You can't speak lack and expect to experience overflow. Your mouth must match your mission. Your voice must align with your vision. You have to speak the language of power. That doesn't mean arrogance. It means alignment. It means you begin to speak like the version of yourself that already exists in your future. If you keep speaking like where you've been, you'll stay stuck in that place mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, even if your body tries to move forward. And here's the truth. Your mind will never believe in a future your mouth keeps rejecting. You can't ask for success while speaking like a failure. You can't ask for breakthrough while repeating broken beliefs out loud. You have to stop talking like a victim. You have to stop rehearsing your limitations and start declaring your transformation. There is authority in your voice, and if you don't use it intentionally, you'll keep reinforcing the very things you're trying to escape from. You start every day speaking life. You speak victory. You speak discipline. You speak abundance. You declare who you are becoming, not who you've been, and you do it before you feel like it, because this isn't about describing your reality. It's about creating a new one. You don't say, "I hope I'm successful." You say, "I am committed to excellence." You don't say, "I always get distracted." You say, "I am laser focused." You don't say, "I've never been good with money." You say, "I manage my resources wisely and multiply what's in my hands." You speak faith, not fantasy. You speak with conviction, not with confusion. You speak what is aligned with your destiny, not what is comfortable in your dysfunction. And the more you speak like that, the more your mind begins to believe it, your body begins to respond to it, your habits begin to support it, and your environment begins to reflect it. Every powerful person you admire mastered their mouth before they mastered their mission. They understood that your confession has to come before your confirmation. You can't wait until the results show up to start speaking power. You speak power until the results can't help but show up. And when doubt comes in, when fear tries to whisper, when your circumstances try to contradict what you've declared, you double down, you speak louder, you speak clearer, you keep declaring until your reality bends under the pressure of your consistency. This is not just mindset, this is spiritual warfare, because your words carry weight, they activate faith, they silence fear, they establish atmosphere, they train your subconscious, they set the tone for your relationships, your work, your attitude, and your vision. So from this day forward, your words are no longer casual, they are calculated, they are intentional, they are weapons of creation. You speak like someone who knows they are becoming unrecognizable. You speak like someone who refuses to let temporary emotions write permanent outcomes. You speak like someone who understands that every phrase that leaves your mouth is a brick in the foundation of the future you're building. and you make sure that every one of those bricks is strong, aligned, and unshakable in the face of whatever tries to tear you down, there is something in your life right now that you know you've been avoiding. You don't need more time to figure it out, because it's already been in your heart, already been in your thoughts, already been showing up in quiet moments when no one is watching. That one thing you keep pushing to tomorrow. That one decision you keep waiting for the perfect time to make. That one action step that you know could shift everything if you just stop hesitating and start moving. The truth is, your transformation doesn't require another year of planning. It requires one bold moment of obedience. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you haven't done what you already know. You've prayed, journaled, thought about it, talked about it, maybe even posted about it, but now it's time to do it. Action is the activator of everything you say you want. Until you move, nothing moves. Until you take action, your vision remains a fantasy trapped in your imagination. You will never experience the power of your potential while you're still negotiating with your fears. You've got to do the hard thing. The uncomfortable thing, the thing you've been waiting for the perfect moment to attempt. Even though that moment will never come, you'll never feel completely ready, and you're not supposed to. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You have to move with what you have. You have to take the step without seeing the staircase. You have to trust that progress doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens in motion. Fear loves inactivity. It thrives in delay. It grows stronger every time you hesitate. But the moment you act, fear loses its grip. The thing you fear doing the most is usually the thing that will free you the fastest. It's the phone call that could restore the relationship or release the guilt. It's the business move that could open new streams and shut the door on scarcity. It's the commitment you've been scared to make because part of you still doubts you're capable of carrying it. But here's the truth. You were never meant to carry it alone. You've got divine backup. You've got favor on your side. You've got wisdom that will show up as you go, not before you move. Miracles don't happen in neutral. They happen in momentum. You don't need all the answers before you act. You need faith enough to start. One bold step, one obedient move, one decision that breaks the pattern of hesitation you've been hiding behind. Most people wait their whole lives for clarity, but clarity comes from action, not from waiting. You learn by moving, you grow by doing, you gain strength by engaging with the thing that scares you. Stop asking how long it will take, and start asking how far you could be if you stopped putting it off. Every day you delay is a day you're robbing yourself of results. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between your current reality and your future breakthrough. You don't need permission to act. You don't need validation to act. You don't even need full confidence to act. You just need a decision, a non-negotiable resolve that you are no longer available for fear. Based living right now is your moment to shift. Right now is your moment to prove to yourself that you are no longer the person who avoids the uncomfortable in favor of the familiar. Right now is your chance to do the thing that changes the game. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to believe it's even possible. But the second you move, the second you decide, the second you stop thinking and start doing, everything begins to realign. Your mind sharpens, your energy rises, your confidence multiplies, your perspective expands. And suddenly, the mountain that looked so big becomes a stepping stone under your feet. The problem isn't that you don't have enough time, support, resources, or opportunity. The real issue is you've been waiting for the fear to go away before you take the step, when in reality, the fear is waiting for you to move so it has a reason to back down. The version of you that you're becoming is on the other side of that one bold action you've been resisting. And the moment you stop avoiding it, is the moment everything begins to change. You can't elevate your life without evaluating your environment, because no matter how strong your desire is, your direction is always influenced by the people around you. Energy is contagious, whether it's building you or breaking you, and the truth is, your circle is either reinforcing your future or reminding you of your past. You've been trying to grow, to think bigger, to move with purpose, but every time you get momentum, it seems like something pulls you back down, and most of the time that something has a name, a face, and a familiar voice. You love them, you've known them for years, they've been part of your journey, but if you're being honest, they're not pushing you forward, they're keeping you comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of calling. You can't keep nurturing relationships that numb your ambition and expect to feel the fire of purpose. You can't keep surrounding yourself with people who only know how to talk about problems and expect to build a future full of solutions. You can't keep investing your time and energy into people who drain you and still expect to have the fuel to pour into your own mission. Some of the people in your life aren't bad. They're just not built for where you're going. They were right for a previous version of you, but now that you're stepping into your next level, their language doesn't fit, their habits don't match, their mindset doesn't align, and their presence becomes more of a weight than a wing. It doesn't make you better than them. It makes you responsible for protecting the environment that sustains your growth. There's a difference between being loyal and being limited. Loyalty does not require you to stay small to keep people comfortable. It does not require you to dim your light so no one feels insecure around your shine. The people who are meant to be in your future won't be intimidated by your elevation. They'll be inspired by it. They won't resent your growth. They'll rise with it. And if they can't, you've got to love them from a distance. Because this next level of your life requires clarity, alignment, and intentionality. You don't have time to explain your vision to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. You don't have time to defend your decisions to people who have never built anything worth defending. You don't have time to water relationships that only grow weeds in your mental garden. This is the season where you audit your circle. Not with bitterness, but with boldness. You ask yourself, who sharpens me, who challenges me to be better, who reminds me of my purpose when I start to doubt, who can celebrate my progress without competing with it, who is building something of their own, so when we come together, the energy multiplies instead of drains. If you can't answer those questions with clarity, then it's time to create some distance, because connection without alignment creates conflict, and conflict leads to confusion, and confusion delays destiny. The wrong circle will normalize average, excuse inconsistency, and make you question your own progress just because it makes them uncomfortable. But the right circle will call you higher, speak to your potential, hold you accountable, celebrate your wins, and pray over your purpose. You are not obligated to stay in relationships that cost you your calling. You are not required to entertain conversations that shrink your dreams. You don't need permission to create boundaries that protect your mental and spiritual environment. You're not leaving people behind. You're inviting them to rise, and if they choose not to, that's not your assignment to carry. Elevation demands separation, not out of pride, but out of necessity. If you're serious about becoming unrecognizable, you've got to make peace with the fact that not everyone can come with you. Not everyone is meant to be in every chapter. Some people are part of your history, not your destiny, and that's okay. You bless them, you release them, and you keep walking in the direction of your assignment with your head high, your heart clean, and your focus locked on what's next when it comes to becoming unrecognizable. The truth is you must make a commitment that is unshakable. This commitment is more than a passing thought or a fleeting desire. It's a deep vow that you give to yourself and your future. Many people want change, but few are willing to pay the price for it. The difference between those who transform their lives and those who remain stuck is this: commitment to consistency no matter what. Commitment that doesn't waver when the excitement fades, when obstacles show up, or when doubt tries to whisper lies in your ear. Commitment that holds you accountable even on the days when you don't feel like showing up. Because transformation isn't a moment, it's a lifestyle. It's the decision to keep moving forward, keep growing, keep refining yourself day after day, week after week, even when the results haven't caught up yet. You become unrecognizable not because you had a moment of inspiration, but because you developed a relentless dedication to the process of becoming. It's easy to be committed when everything is going well, but real commitment is tested when things get tough. When you face resistance, criticism, setbacks, or failure, that's when your commitment shows its true colors. You might feel like quitting, you might wonder if it's worth it, but this is where you rise. This is where you remind yourself why you started in the first place. You reconnect with the vision that compelled you beyond your comfort zone. You get so clear on your why that it becomes a beacon guiding you through the darkest moments. You remind yourself that every successful person has faced storms and walked through the fire. They didn't quit because they wanted it easy. They won because they refused to quit. You have to decide if you're willing to be one of those people. If you're willing to do the work even when no one's watching. If you're willing to push through pain and uncertainty because you know your breakthrough is on the other side. Consistency is what builds momentum. It's what shifts habits from hard work into second nature. When you show up day after day, week after week, you are rewiring your brain to operate at a higher level. You are creating a new identity that isn't dependent on feelings or circumstances, but is rooted in your commitment. You don't wait to feel motivated. You act until motivation catches up. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You start now with what you have. The small, consistent actions compound over time, and suddenly, the progress you once dreamed of becomes your reality. Commitment to consistency is the difference between a dreamer and a doer, between wishing and winning. Another important part of commitment is self-forgiveness, because no journey toward transformation is perfect. You will stumble, you will fall, you will miss days, make mistakes, face disappointments. But commitment means you don't let a momentary lapse turn into permanent surrender. You get back up, recommit, and keep moving forward. You refuse to let shame or guilt dictate your future. You treat yourself with grace but stay fierce with your vision, because every setback is a setup for a comeback if you handle it with resilience. Commitment includes loving yourself enough to keep going even when progress looks slow or invisible. It's a long game, not a sprint. And commitment means you don't quit on yourself no matter how hard the road gets. Your environment, your routines, your words, they all support your commitment or sabotage it. So you've got to build a lifestyle around the promise you've made to yourself. Protect your time like it's sacred. Guard your mind against negativity. Surround yourself with people who hold you accountable and inspire you to stay faithful. Keep your goals visible. Celebrate every small victory. Reflect regularly on how far you've come, because commitment is a living, breathing force that needs fuel. Without care, it can weaken, but with attention, it grows stronger every day. Becoming unstoppable, becoming unrecognizable means you don't just want change. You decide to be changed, not just temporarily, but permanently. You are willing to do whatever it takes to stay faithful to your calling, to keep rising even when the world tries to push you down. Commitment is your foundation. It's the promise that when the noise quiets, when the hype fades, when the distractions disappear, you are still standing, still pushing, still building the life you were born to live. That kind of commitment transforms not just your days, but your destiny, your mind. It is the lens through which you see every situation, every opportunity, every challenge, and every person. It colors your perception and determines your response. If you want to become unrecognizable, the transformation must begin in your mind because no external change can be sustained without internal renewal. The difference between those who break through and those who break down is not luck or circumstance, but the way they think. Your thoughts are not random, they are seeds planted daily, growing into the life you live. If you cultivate a mindset of limitation, scarcity, and fear, that's the harvest you'll reap. But if you cultivate a mindset of possibility, abundance, and courage, that's the legacy you'll leave. You must become obsessed with upgrading your thinking. It starts by recognizing the stories you've been telling yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, and what your future holds. Those stories may have served you in some ways, but now they need to be rewritten. Old beliefs like I'm not enough, I don't have what it takes, or success is for other people, are lies disguised as truths, and they will keep you stuck in the same patterns. You have to challenge those narratives. You have to confront the mental barriers that have been quietly sabotaging your growth. Your mind can either be your greatest prison or your greatest asset, and the choice is yours. Growth requires discomfort because transformation is a process of breaking through mental limitations and expanding what you believe is possible. When you adopt a growth mindset, you view setbacks as feedback, not failure. You understand that every challenge is an opportunity to learn, to pivot, and to grow stronger. You stop fearing mistakes and start embracing them as necessary steps on the road to mastery. This shift in thinking changes how you approach your goals, your relationships, and even yourself. It changes the energy you bring to your daily actions. Instead of shrinking from difficulties, you lean into them with curiosity and courage. One of the most powerful tools to develop this mindset is intentional learning. Feed your mind daily with books, podcasts, conversations, and experiences that expand your perspective. Surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking and inspire your growth. Seek mentors who have walked the path before you and can guide you through the mental shifts required to step into your next level. Your mind is like a garden. It grows whatever you plant and nurture. If you plant seeds of doubt and negativity, that's what will grow. But if you plant seeds of faith, wisdom, and positivity, you'll harvest a life that reflects those qualities. You also have to practice mental discipline. That means choosing what you allow into your mind and what you reject. The news, social media, conversations, and even your own thoughts can be toxic if not filtered with intention. You don't have to absorb every negative opinion or toxic narrative that comes your way. You get to decide what you focus on and what you release. When you discipline your mind, you create space for clarity, creativity, and peace. You build resilience against the storms of life because you've trained your mind to stay anchored even when the waves try to toss you around your mind. That also influences your emotions and your behaviors. When you think like a winner, you feel like a winner, and you act like a winner. This creates a powerful feedback loop that propels you forward. Conversely, when you think like a victim, you feel powerless, and your actions reflect that mindset, keeping you stuck in cycles of frustration and regret. You have to be vigilant about your mental habits because they determine the trajectory of your life. You can't afford to let limiting thoughts run the show. Instead, you have to take control and lead your mind with intention and purpose. Becoming unrecognizable means rejecting the status quo of your mind, and embracing a new way of thinking that aligns with your highest potential. It means developing mental toughness, emotional intelligence, and a vision that is bigger than your current circumstances. It means being willing to unlearn old patterns and relearn new strategies that support your growth. It means stepping out of your comfort zone repeatedly until growth becomes your new normal. Your mindset is the foundation upon which all your success is built, and when you strengthen it, everything else in your life shifts as well. You are the author of your own mental narrative, and you get to choose what story you tell yourself every day. Choose a story of hope, possibility, resilience, and faith. Choose a story that empowers you to become unrecognizable to your past self and unstoppable in your future. Because the life you want is not just waiting for you outside. It's waiting for you to change inside first. Now look at yourself. You're not the same. In 1 week, you changed your mind, your schedule, your voice, your circle, your courage, your faith, and your identity. The old you would have thought about changing, the new you did it. So let the world catch up. Let the doubters watch. Let the haters whisper. Let the results speak, because you